Hello, people of the internet, my name is Johnny, and welcome to the new year. You can tell it's the new year because the 2023 FNAF AR calendar is off of my wall. Just to clarify, I did try and find the 2024 FNAF calendar. I know I've seen it, it's security breach themed, but when I went on Amazon, it said it was out of print because it was limited availability or something, which I don't know why that's the case for a yearly calendar. So instead, I've got a Taylor Swift calendar that references multiple songs and lyrics up on the wall, so I'm sure FNAF fans on the main channel will be very confused why Freddy Fazbear is not on the wall, and instead it's talking about leaving Christmas lights up until January. But the end of last year and the first week of this new year was very annoying because I got COVID, so that was a fun way to end the last year and a fantastic way to kick off 2024, but I'm feeling better now, thankfully. And I wanted to pop on quick because I wanted to quickly talk about my thoughts on how the channel did last year and also what I want to do with the main channel and even this channel going into 2024. And I especially wanted to do that because, as you can see, on January 5th, 2023, over a year ago now, I made my 2023 goals. So I want to quickly go over those and see why things worked out, why some things didn't work out. And you can see the first goal was 100k on YouTube. Now, we did get very close. I think we're at like 91,000, which is close, but it's not 100,000, unfortunately. I think if I'd pushed myself a bit further out of the comfort zone and done other forms of videos, then maybe we could have gotten there, uploaded a few more shorts. Those did really well last year. And actually, this might be a little bit cringe to some people, but at the end of every year, I make a pretty simple Google spreadsheet of all the videos and the dates and the categories of types of videos they were, the views they got. I even make pie charts, which is pretty nerdy. But it's just barely cut off. But 70% of the 119 videos I uploaded last year were news videos. And I want to try and cut that down in 2024. Because the thing about news videos is that they get the job done. You know, they're pretty relatively easy to make, and it's kind of what I'm known for. But at the end of the day, they're not really videos that help you grow. So again, I want to experiment a bit more in 2024 in the main channel with other forms of content that I like doing, still in regards to FNAF. Scheduled content and streams, that didn't work out because I'm not going to lie, I get very, very lazy. That's showing up again on the 2024 goals, and honestly, already I have a much better system in place for how I can go about actually achieving this goal. Attempt the podcast, we did actually do, though. If we go back to the spreadsheet and we scroll all the way down to my least viewed videos, you can see a bit of a common trend here. Every single one of these is gaming related. It's me playing a game. Now, quite frankly, some of these are the FNAF Help 1 and 2 playthroughs, which are very recent, so that's kind of why they have low views, but you know, I can't help but notice that all of them were gaming. And the reason why I bring this up after talking about attempting the podcast was because one of the podcast episodes is also on here. So those two forms of content, I don't think, if I continue those, they're gonna stay on the main channel. In 1 year, I think we did 3 episodes of the podcast, which is a very small number, I understand. I would like to try and continue the podcast. I might try and make it a more one-on-one experience with like another FNAF YouTuber and just, you know, hearing their story about their career and what their thoughts on FNAF are, stuff like that. A more, like, interview-esque show rather than a podcast talking about, like, one very niche, specific topic for the episode. But if I do continue that, I think I'm gonna throw it up on this channel. It just was not working out on the main channel, and that also goes for the case with all the gaming videos. Like I said, every single one of my least viewed videos was a gaming video. Whether it's mainline FNAF games like Help Wanted or even Ruin, or it's fanverse games like My Pop Goes, or for some reason I played Meatly's Storage World at the start of the year. I don't know why I thought that would be a good video to upload. I think main FNAF games I'm still gonna have on the main channel. I'll probably still do fanverse games on the main channel, but stuff like Poppy Playtime Chapter 3, which is something I'd usually do on the main channel, I think I'm just gonna upload here. Same thing with like Bendy the Cage, new Bendy games when those come out, or if I want to revisit some other indie horror games. I don't think I'm gonna throw those up on the main channel anymore. And I'd also like to do fan games on this channel. I want this channel, JonnyBloxLIVE, the second channel, to be just a whenever I feel like uploading channel, you know? Kind of like Scott's Stash for Scott the Waz, or more recently, Oh Yeah Gaming. I'm not gonna lie, I've had a blast just listening to Oh Yeah rant about whatever he feels like talking about that day. I don't know how consistently second channel uploads are going to be, but it's just something, if I feel like talking about something, I'll talk about it. If I feel like playing a fan game or playing some other game, I'll play it. I don't care about getting views or subs. I'll just let this channel be like a background channel, you know, something you put on when you just want to have a fun time to watch something. Continuing on with the goals, however, make another FNAF show / game show and charity streams. That is something I'm putting back on the 2024 goals because, like I said, I just got lazy. I'm not gonna lie. To me, I think charity streams and game shows have to be a certain level of quality. You know, like you look at Dawko's charity streams and he's got these crazy, you know, like actual FNAF incentives and PopGo's incentives, and obviously I can't get stuff like that. So when planning charity streams, I always second guess myself, like, is it really worth it? Like, are these goals interesting if what I'm doing on stream is interesting, you know? But I just gotta stop second guessing myself and get some work done, because I have had so many ideas in the back of my head about game shows FNAF related, and I've shared them with people. I've gotten people, you know, I've reached out to people like, hey, would you be interested in helping out with this? And I've gotten a lot of positive feedback. It's totally still the same day, and I totally remember what I was talking about. But yeah, higher production stuff like game shows and charity streams, that's on the 2024 list. I gotta stop, you know, second guessing myself, and they're coming. Getting back into speedrunning and then learning Blender and getting better at Click Team for fan games is something that, on hindsight, I think in January of 2023, I thought was stuff I was passionate about. I think as the year went on and I dipped my toes a bit further into those hobbies, I pretty quickly learned that it's not something I'm all too passionate about. So that's why for the 2024's goals list, I have other hobbies that I'm actually passionate about doing, that I actually want to do. Not saying that I will never do speedrunning or learn game making ever again in the future, because I probably would like to at some point. It's just right now, definitely not something I'm all too fixated on doing at this moment in time. Watch more movies and shows. I did that. In fact, I'm currently working on a my favorite movies of 2023 tier list video that's going to be going up on this second channel. I'm very happy with that because I really fell in love with movies last year. There were so many good ones. I didn't watch many shows, but movies, I watched like damn near 50 of them. Lastly, exercise and better sleep schedule. That's another thing where I just got lazy, you know? Why exercise when I can just play video game or watch someone play video game? But that and better sleep schedule, I, just like video scheduling, have a much better way of going about that for this year, so that is definitely something that's returning on the 2024's list that I think I'll actually be able to do. FNAF-a-thon, I didn't do that because every time I did want to get around to it, another FNAF YouTuber would do it, so I didn't want to seem like I was copying them, but it's kind of something that returns on the 2024 list, you're gonna see in a second. And then get 1 million on a video, maybe 2 vids, I don't know, I'm goofy with it. Well, I wasn't really that goofy with it, because even though I did get 2 shorts over 1 million views, my most viewed video did not even get close to 1 million, so I wasn't really goofy with it, you know, in the technical sense. But that was a very quick recap of the 2023's goals list. You can see I didn't really accomplish a whole lot. There was like 2 things that I did, and I think it's mostly because 2023 was a very stick to my guns, you know, stick to my roots year. Like I said, 70% of my videos last year were news, which did get the job done, but I definitely, I wanted to branch out. And then 15% were gaming, which don't really do that well. So like, what, 85% of my content was stuff I wasn't all too proud of doing. So even though we did grow a lot in 2023, I definitely feel like I could have pushed myself harder. So now let's take a look into the future, the goals for 2024. And you can also see we've evolved from Johnny in January getting excited for Scream 6 to clowning Johnny getting ready for Reputation Taylor's version. But these are the goals. First of all, the FNAF-a-thon, again, kind of returns because I want to 100% all the FNAF games. The reason why I want to do this is because, number one, it's just been a long time since I've beaten all the FNAF games. And number 2, I was watching Ambience's stream, who's a incredible FNAF like speedrunner and like statistics guy, like he knows all the ins and outs on all the strategies for the hard modes and all the games. And he did a stream very similar to this, like beating all the max modes in one sitting, and dude, he like flew through those. I was so blown away. So I think if I reach out to someone like Ambience or, again, all these other FNAF legends who know all the ins and outs of the max modes, I feel like it's something I can do pretty successfully. I'm not sure if I'd stream this or just do it casually or upload videos. I'm still not sure, but this year I want to go through and say that I 100%ed every single FNAF game, including max modes and challenges. Scheduled video production and release, like I've already talked about, I've got a much better system in place. Because while I do have a calendar, like a whiteboard calendar over here for the entire month, I think my problem was I was scheduling an entire month, when that is just really not how I fly, you know, especially when making FNAF news videos, because sometimes giant news will pop out of nowhere, and then I've got to shift the entire schedule. So now I'm just going week by week. Weekly streams, I just talked about that. At the end of every single week, I want to do a news recap stream. They're probably going to be very quick, you know, not too in-depth, just talking about everything that happened that week in regards to FNAF news, getting your guys' thoughts and theories on that, just as a way to interact with you guys, because I don't go through the comments at all, so it's hard to see, like, what everyone's talking about. Plus, I like live streaming, but I don't think my audience is too cut out for, like, live streaming, you know? Because most of the time, if I go on stream and I'm, like, playing a game or I'm talking about something, people just want to talk about news. So I think if I just do news live streams and recapping the news, that'll be a good way to do live streams. Next up, we got consistently yet casually upload on the second channel, so this very channel right now. I just want this channel to be whatever I want to talk about, I'll talk about it, you know? I'm not worried about how much views videos get, how many subs I get. If the channel grows, that's obviously amazing. But if I want to play a fan game, I'll play it. Am I gonna 100% beat it? Probably not. I'll just play it till I get bored of it. If I just want to ramble on for some topic, screw it, I'll do it. I just want this channel to be like a fun channel, you know? One you just throw on when you're bored. Bonus JonnyBlox content. He rambles for 15 minutes about a topic probably no one cares about. And then experiment more on the first channel. Don't just stick to news, higher production events, charity streams, and game shows. I've talked about that already. It might seem like an eye roll statement what I'm about to say, but I have a lot of video essays and other scripted FNAF video ideas that I would like to do on the second channel to see how well those do. And that's really what I mean by experiment more. There are so many topics in the FNAF scene, and I want to talk about them, you know? Of course, that doesn't mean I'm completely getting rid of news. It's still going to be there. I'm still going to cover it. It'll probably still be the same frequency that we're doing it right now. I just like to see what other content in the FNAF scene I can do on the main channel, you know? And then we've got some personal goals, exercising, better sleep schedule. I've already got a plan set in place for those. If you want my tip, because I know exercising is a lot of people's New Year's resolution right now, I'm just starting off with some basic stretches in the morning. That's been going good so far, and then eventually, once I get into the routine of that, I'll move on to stuff like push-ups and sit-ups and pull-ups and I guess other stuff that involves going up. And then once I get the hang of that, that's when I'm gonna move on to, like, I've got a Peloton at home and I've also got a whole bunch of different routes that I can do for running. And then better sleep schedule I've not fully gone into just yet, because I'll be honest, I'm still going to bed at like 1, 2 a.m. But I've heard that there's some programs out there that will like shut down your device or like lock your device to certain websites after a certain time, so I'm probably going to look into some of those things. Next, I want to read at least one book a month, and I've made it clear to myself that does not include FNAF books. I'm not going to be like, oh, I can read Fetch this month, and then I can move on to the Gumdrop Angel, and then Tales from the Pizzaplex. That doesn't count. I'll be honest, it's probably been several years since I've last read an actual book. And you know, over that time, I've collected a few ones, like Sirens, you know, Scott's son's book. And while I did basically only get it because I wanted to support, you know, Brayden, I've heard good things about it, so I do at some point want to check it out. Got the Lego Story. Seems like it's like the backstory behind the Lego company. I don't know, I haven't, again, fully looked into it, obviously, but I've had it for a while, and I like Lego. I like the backstories behind companies. I've had Jeanette McCurdy's book for the longest time. I've heard amazing things about it. I love Jeanette McCurdy, but I've still never gotten around to reading it. Just recently picked up Britney Spears' book. You know, it's like, I've got all these actual books that I have expressed interest in reading because I've purchased them, but I've never actually gotten the chance to read them. So I know only one book a month might sound like a very small number to some people who actively do read, but it's not something I've done in a long time, and I want to get into it. Thirdly, for personal goals, we have attend the Eras Tour. Now, this is probably the loftiest goal on this entire goals list. I have been a Swiftie, a fan of Taylor Swift for the goddamn longest time, since the country years. I'll probably talk about it a bit more in the movies tier list video, but dude, experiencing the Eras Tour film and the community surrounding that was unlike anything I've ever done. It was amazing. And I can only imagine just how insane it would be at the actual tour, you know? And it's like, I probably could wait until the next tour, but the Eras Tour, man, it's like, it quite literally is made for Swifties like me who have been along the ride for all these years. It's a lofty goal, but it's one I'm really dedicated to. So if you see a whole bunch of videos being pumped out, just know it's because I'm raising up funds. If eventually you see maybe some merchandise go in the background, it's because I'm selling them, because I'm raising funds. And lastly, for personal goals, I originally had release a song, but I might just change that to work on songs because I don't want to pressure myself into releasing a song, you know, getting it out of the way because, oh, so many months ago, old JonnyBlox said you gotta release a song. Because quite frankly, that's a hobby I'm super still early into. I'm only just still learning guitar and piano. I've not written any songs just yet. So again, it's a process I want to take slow, make sure I'm doing it right the way I want it to go. But this was something I'm talking about that's like, I have new hobbies that I'm more passionate about than speedrunning or making games. This is that. And again, it's not something I'm going to rush into. I'm going to take my time with it. But later on this year, if you see me talking about writing songs or working on songs, I guess get excited. And lastly, we got some milestones, 150k on YouTube and Twitter, and 100k on TikTok. TikTok, I don't really care too much about, if I'm being honest. Same with Twitter. I am very content with where I'm at on Twitter right now. I think we're closing in on 90,000 followers, which, considering my end goal was 10k on Twitter, it'll be nice to hit 100,000 because that's a nice, even, you know, satisfying big number. And that's when I'll really be like super content with Twitter. But if we get to 150, I'll be super happy. And then 150k on YouTube, I think we'll definitely hit 100k. 150 is a nice, you know, stretch goal to make up for not hitting 100k last year. I think 150 is a nice, reasonable number. I think these should be relatively easy goals. I'm saying that now, so in a year from now, if I don't complete some of these, I can shame myself. But yeah, that's gonna do it. I'd love to know if you guys have any New Year's resolutions. Feel free to share them, or if they're personal, you don't have to share them. I wish you the best with them this year. Stay on the lookout for everything I've talked about. Make sure to subscribe to this channel because you don't want to miss all the other random topics that I'm going to talk about. But thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you all on the flip side. Goodbye.